welcome to this webinar on our latest feature, Leegality WhatsApp Pings. I'm Aditya, Director of Marketing at Leegality. And today I'm joined, as usual, by Siddhant, Director of Product at Leegality, and Anshul, who's a Product Manager who managed the development of Leegality WhatsApp Pings. As I mentioned, if you have any questions, Q&A box at the end will give you mic access to ask questions. So quick run through of the structure of this webinar. Since there are a lot of new joinees who probably are interacting with Leegality for the first time, I'm going to start with a quick 3-4 minute introduction of Leegality and what we do. Then I'm going to spend 3 to 4 minutes talking about the context in which we built this specific feature, about why the communications layer is so important for digital paperwork. After that, Siddhant, our Director of Product, is going to take you through the details about WhatsApp pings. This will again take another 3 or so minutes. So what you're looking at is a 10-minute context setting, which will be super important to help you contextualize the feature and actually figure out how it can help you, right? And so after this 10-11 minute mark, Anshul will show for the first time in front of a public audience a live demonstration of WhatsApp pings, right? This won't just be a video we play. She will show you the feature and how it works in real time on our sandbox environment. And at the end, of course, we'll have an open Q&A. So first, a quick introduction about Leegality. Leegality is currently working with more than 2,000 companies for a wide variety of use cases. And we're currently helping various verticals within these companies make the complete switch from physical paperwork, paper-based processes to digital ones, right? And there is really no limit to the use cases that can be digitized in India today. On screen is an illustrative list of the kinds of documents that companies are digitally executing through Leegality. But there's a lot more than this, of course. So the basic point is if you have a type of document, there's a 99.9% chance you can set up a digital execution process for it via Leegality. There's a 99% chance we've already done it for someone else. So like we have the expertise there. But why exactly are companies using Leegality? Why is digitization of paperwork a priority for them, right? So there's often a misconception that the paperwork issue is a relatively small issue, which has direct cost implications like cost of storage, transport, printing, and logistics. And while this is certainly true, the problems paperwork creates are actually much wider and deep-rooted than that. For instance, for a lot of loan products today, right, it takes a few days to a week to actually do the disbursal. Why? Solely because the paperwork just takes that long, right? In almost all organizations, office and branch teams have to spend some amount of hours daily just doing mundane paperwork tasks, hours where they could have spent doing something else, doing their core work, right? And you can't measure these losses on a P&L statement, but they are clear, tangible costs that paperwork imposes on business. And when you add things like the legal costs, the customer experience costs, and the environmental costs, you realize that this paperwork process creates a deep structural problem that businesses should have an urgency to solve right away. And that's exactly what we are laser focused on, right? Because the return of paperwork, Shubhash, if you can just stay on that slide, the comparison table slide. The return, if you actually solve for these deep structural problems, you actually get exponential returns, not just a plaster over those problems, but you are actually getting returns you could never have got if you made your processes continue to be physical. So what our aim is to get you from the left column to the right column, right? But for that, how we solve it, there's another misconception, right? That you can solve this problem with a simple eSign implementation where you just integrate an eSign service with maybe some e-stamping and it's done and dusted, right? But we realized that's just not true, right? eSign is just one component in a proper digital document execution process. To digitize paperwork at scale, you definitely need eSign in that process, but that's just not enough, right? The way we see it is we see it as an infrastructural problem, right? Let me draw an analogy to another process. To solve and implement digital payments, for example, it's not enough to say integrate a simple payments gateway in your organization. You need an entire payments infrastructure that accompanies it both in the back end and the front end, right? So similarly, to solve and implement digital paperwork, an eSign solution is not enough. You need an entire document infrastructure around and accompanying it to actually solve the problem. So what exactly does this mean, right? First, of course, even in the eSign layer, right, it's not as simple as, okay, here is an Aadhaar eSign, plugged it in, go ahead, right? You need to ensure compatibility and support for multiple eSign types available in India. You need to ensure that it's constantly updated with new eSign types. You need to ensure business continuity, right? Like if your eSign service provider is down, does your business stop or do you continue, right? With backups in place and things like that, right? So you need a deep eSign stack. Then, of course, you need a stamping layer. And stamping in India is governed by a host of laws, state laws and central laws. You can't really simply digitize it with a simple API that superimposes an image of a stamp, right? It could violate stamping law. So we've developed an entire physical to digital stamping infrastructure that complies with stamping laws in 29 plus states and union territories. Then beyond eSign and e-stamping, you need to ensure that the entire process is fraud proof, right? Or you risk regulatory scrutiny or enforcement hassles in court. In our last webinar, in fact, we went through the sub layers of this fraud prevention leg and how to actually ensure it. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. Apart from that comes document operations, because the paperwork process involves a ton of stakeholders in large organizations. Some people need to be kept in the loop, even though they aren't signers. Some people need to give the sign off, like your authorized signatory. You may need to send and collect supporting documents. There's a whole bunch of other operational things that you need to do in this paperwork process, right? We built a layer and we built features that solve this. And then, of course, finally is implementation and automation, right? Because all the features in the world are useless if you constantly need manual intervention and if you really, the implementation becomes unscalable, right? So we've engineered the product and our team itself in a way to prevent this and ensure that you get complete automation when it comes to paperwork and you're able to scale up the solution fast. Again, for all of these points, we're probably going to do other webinars at some point, and you can also check out our website. Today, we want to focus on the last layer there, right? Communications and accessibility. Because the last mile for any digital process is the communications interface with the customer who's actually going to use and experience that digital process. Everything you do is ultimately delivered through your communications leg, right? And most companies here on this call and companies outside this call as well pay tremendous attention to this communications interface in all their processes. There's no reason this should be any different for a digital paperwork process. Because if this last mile is broken, your entire digital transformation flops, right? Especially for digital paperwork. If your communication is unclear and inaccessible to the customer, then your dreams of your goals of a successful digital paperwork process are simply going to flop, right? You will face drop-offs. You will face a terrible customer experience. And in regulated industries like in the BFSI sectors, clear communication, especially when it comes to documentation, is not just a business priority, but it's also a regulatory requirement in many cases. So a lack of clear communication in the document execution process can be seen as improper consent gathering. In fact, a lot of RBI guidelines themselves specify certain clarity that you need to have in communication when it comes to this leg of the process, right? So if you fail to ensure it, it can land you in regulatory soup as well, right? So ultimately, the only way to succeed in your digital paperwork process is to solve for this last mile, have a clear and accessible communication interface. Without it, it's just not possible. And honestly, we've seen some people just take it for granted. Like, yeah, let's focus on the flow. Let's focus on the API integration. Let's focus on having fraud prevention, all those features, right? And let's just complete the integration. But honestly, all of that will just fail ultimately if the communication layer breaks down, right? So you need to pay special attention to it and not take it for granted for your digital paperwork to be successful. We certainly aren't taking it for granted, right? Over the past few years, we've been deeply building for this layer, from ensuring, for example, that you can brand the entire journey in your own branding, right? Because ultimately, customers want to experience a process with you and not with a third party like Leegality. They prefer to deal with their bank than, okay, what is this Leegality software, right? We've ensured customizability of all messages that accompany an eSign link, right? So that you ensure your tone, your exact language that you need, maybe from a compliance perspective, you ensure that is communicated to the customer clearly. Recently, we even launched full-scale local language eSign interfaces to ensure the entire journey is in a language that the customer ultimately prefers or is more comfortable with. And so it's in this layer and in line with these features that WhatsApp pings actually comes in, right? So where exactly does it fit in? So ultimately, the way a signer currently accesses a document to eSign is via a signing link, similar to a payments link, right? This link before today was delivered in three primary ways. One is via SMS, second is via email, and the third is where the link is you automatically open it via an API integration in your native app interface, like a net banking app or a web interface, right? Document directly opens there. So with these three modes, why is there a need for WhatsApp, right? And for this, I'll hand it over to Sid to give us an analysis and why they built this feature. And after that, we'll move to the demo.
Thanks, Aditya, and hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. We're really excited to have you here. So at Leegality, we are obsessed about helping businesses handle paperwork as efficiently as possible, as fast as possible, while building trust and delighting customers, right? And as Aditya mentioned, the communications layer is super critical to this, right? And we've done so many successful implementations with banks and NBFCs. So we sat down and had a chat with many of them regarding how the communication layer was working for them, and whether there was any scope to further improve things, right? Now, when we spoke to our customers about how communications was implemented through Leegality, we realized that whilst they had successfully automated vast chunks of the document infra space using our software solutions, there was one place where there was a little bit of room for improvement, and that was in the communications layer. Now, why was that? We realized when talking to our customers that very often after sending out the signing links to their signers, there would be a manual intervention needed in certain cases to ensure that the signing happened. Typically, a relationship manager or a sales representative. So as I was saying, there were some places where a manual intervention was needed to help customers find the signing link and actually perform the signing. And that's because of certain known issues with these channels, right? Despite their popularity, right? So with email-based links, obviously most people in India would not actively and regularly use their personal emails, right? Most modern Indians in cities would have an email, but it's not that they readily have that available on their phone or they're checking it on a daily basis, right? Emails also have notorious spam filters, right? Often very legitimate emails end up going to spam folders, which causes a lot of difficulty to customers in finding relevant information. We've obviously done a lot of work to optimize this, to make sure that our emails and our customers' emails always land in the primary inbox, but no business has so far completely solved this, right? With SMS, again, there is a very high level of distrust. There is a lot of spam, lot of marketing, lot of phishing. People don't really actively check their SMS inbox. Most people use their SMS inbox only when they are looking for an OTP, right? So there are some problems with emails and SMSs. Regardless of what you do, it's unlikely that everyone will open and engage with the communications that you're having through these channels, right? Now, some businesses have identified this and they try to manage communications directly with the customer through their own apps. Now, that obviously makes things better, but it's not a complete solution. It doesn't do away with the need for external communication through external channels like email or SMS. You have cases where users drop off. You need to inform users of successful transactions. So the need for a reliable, trusted communication channel that's actively used by customers still remains, right? Now that led us to the question, what communication channel is out there that's very actively used by Indians and is trusted by hundreds of millions of Indians, right? And the obvious answer is WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp, we think, is India's favorite app, right? It has 487 million users in the country, growing 16.6% annually. And the most interesting thing from a business point of view is that over the last few years, Indians have grown used to interacting with businesses and doing digital transactions through WhatsApp, right? So it's very common nowadays that when a customer books a flight or a railway ticket, they get the e-ticket in PDF form in their WhatsApp. When you book a movie ticket, it's the same thing. Uh, Almost all major banks in the country have a WhatsApp banking channel that enables customers to manage their financial lives on WhatsApp. So you can check your bank account statement, you can check your bank balance, you can pay your credit card bills, all sort of stuff. You can even buy groceries on WhatsApp now, right? And this is a phenomena that's only going to increase further, as Indians clearly view WhatsApp as a very highly trusted channel for engaging with businesses, and that's the channel on which people are most active on. So we want to tap into this behavior, this emerging sentiment, and we want to enable businesses to interact with customers in respect of paperwork on WhatsApp as well. We want businesses to be able to invite their customers and other stakeholders to sign documents via WhatsApp. We want our businesses to remind their signers to sign on WhatsApp. And after a successful signing, we want our businesses to be able to send a signed document and audit trail to the customers on WhatsApp, right? We are further emboldened in this because some of our clients have already implemented this natively by using our APIs. There are end-to-end automated flows where our links are shared on WhatsApp, but we don't want these API and highly tech-friendly companies to have all the fun. We want all our companies using us in whatever way to be able to engage with customers via WhatsApp and send notifications and communications via WhatsApp. We believe that this will result in better outcomes. It will result in a higher open rate, a higher independent open rate where customers open notifications without manual intervention. It will lead to faster signing. And at the end of the day, it will also help you delight your stakeholders, whether they are customers, employees, vendors, because they'll be using uh, legality and your process in the way that they are super comfortable with, right? So that's what led us to develop legality WhatsApp pings. But without further ado, let's take a look at how this actually works in practice. And over to you, Anshul. Please take us through the flow.
Thank you, Siddhant, and hi everyone. Welcome to the demonstration part of this webinar. So this demonstration will be done in two parts. First, I will show you how, as a sender of a document for e-signing, you can simply activate WhatsApp for the communications to your signers. In the second part, I'll show you what the journey would look like for your signers while they have received the communications through WhatsApp. So without further ado, I'll quickly share my screen. So let's dive in. So this is the legality dashboard for a sender. This is what it looks like. So as a sender of the document, I first see important metrics like total invitations that I have made till date, total e-signs that have gotten completed, and documents containing these invitees, how many of them have been completed. In the bottom, I see the activity logs pertaining to these activities. And in the left-hand side, I see desk, drawer, and documents, which helps me manage my documents and my templates, my stamp inventory, workflows, contacts, and whatnot. So I'll not go into too much in detail for this, but let's start. When as a sender, I want to send a document, I can quickly do that by clicking on this new document button. So when I do that, I am presented with this window. So sending document is very easy. It's just a three-step process. In the first process, which is create, I add a document. So adding a document can be done. You can either upload a PDF file or you can choose a template from your template inventory that you manage on Legalities portal. So for this demo's sake, I'll upload a PDF. So once I've uploaded it, I can see it has been successfully uploaded. It is mentioned here. I can upload multiple PDFs here as well. Uh, in this section, I can manage the stamps. If I want to affix a stamp from my stamp inventory, I can do so. So for this example, I can see this in my stamp inventory. I can see 100 rupees stamp for Maharashtra and 500 rupees stamp for Maharashtra. So I can select a stamp series. I can also use them in group, and if I can also upload them. So this is how I can affix a stamp on my document. Now, since I've uploaded a document, added a stamp, and now I'll click on next. So now I've landed on the second step of this process, which is the most important step because this is where you add your signers. So let's take a look at this particular screen. So if I want to ensure that the signing happens in a particular order, if I'm adding multiple signers and I want the first signer to sign first and only then second signer should be able to sign, I can keep this toggled on. And if I want to sign this document automatically, my the sender's contact information and name is affixed here. If I want to sign, I don't need to add it again. So I'll check this off for now. And this is the card where you can add invitees. You can add multiple invitees if you want. And it is adding an invitee is very simple. I just need to provide the name and the contact information. So I'll add the name here. And as you can see, while I'm adding, I also see the list of contacts that I have added in my contact information so that I don't need to add the details every time that I'm sending. So I'll add the name, I'll add the mobile number. Here, to activate WhatsApp, I just need to ensure that this toggle is on. It's that easy. You just need to ensure that this toggle is on, and just by doing that, all the communications after you send the document will be communicated via WhatsApp. So now let's just see this screen for a little while. I can also I can also select the signature type. So I'm selecting virtual sign here, but there are multiple e-signing options that are available like Aadhaar, DSC, Doc Signer, Automated Sign, Cloud DSC. There are so many combinations that we can select. In virtual sign, I can specify if I want my invitee to sign or a signer to sign draw the signature, or if I want them to affix a fingerprint image or just upload a sign by signing on a piece of paper. So I can manage all of that from here. I also have advanced invitee level options. There are a bunch of them. I'll not go into details for all of them, but I'll just highlight this particular one, which is enable security features. You can capture the GPS location of the signer when they are signing. You can capture their photo. You can also check if the user liveliness of the signer. And then there are other bunch of things that you can do. Apart from that, you can also ask invitee to upload a supporting document, PAN, Aadhaar, whatever documents that you require, you can also mention them here. For now, I'll just complete this section and go to the final section, which is third step, finalize. So this is done. I've added one invitee with this number, and I've also activated WhatsApp for this particular invitee. So now in this section, I don't need to do anything. Leegality gives you a preview of how your document is going to look like. So first I see the stamp affixed on top of the document that I have added. I also see this is where the signature will finally appear once the signer has signed. So on this screen, I see all of that. Once I am satisfied with everything, I can just simply click on send and the document would be sent.
I think
So
before we just go on, I think there are two questions pertinent to this before we move on to the signing journey.
sure.
One is the feature already present in Sandbox for everyone? And two is, so that's one. Sid, what's the answer there? Quick answer there.
We'll have to specifically enable it for individual accounts. So if you're already a user of Leegality, just let us know your account email ID and we'll enable it for you.
Right. So yes, reach out to us right away. We'll drop contact details, or if you're already using Leegality, you will have a POC, your customer success manager. Just contact them. We'll enable it for you. Gradually, we'll obviously enable it for more users automatically as the launch progresses. The second question, can we provide this WhatsApp flag using API? Because they maintain a WhatsApp opt-in in their CRM, and like they want to pass the flag in the API call.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
So this is just a dashboard flow for the sake of demo, but of course you can use APIs to enable this.
Right. And the third question just came in relevant to this in the sending journey. Can you send it on both mediums? Can you send a link via WhatsApp and email as well? So it appears parallelly on both.
So interesting question, after a lot of deliberation, we realized if we are sending it on both the medium, it leads to spamming the signer. So we decided against doing that. So we send it only on WhatsApp if WhatsApp is selected, and we send it only on SMS if SMS is sent, because the communications will be sent on the same time. So we don't want to spam the user.
Anshul, to interject, I think the question is whether email and WhatsApp can be used together, not SMS and WhatsApp.
Yeah, email and WhatsApp, correct.
Oh yeah, then yes, you can definitely send on both of them. So as I have sent this document, this is how the screen would look like to the sender. This is the document that they have sent, again, the stamp and the document. They can also see the details, the name of the document that they have sent, the date, and the status. It is currently sent only. It's not signed. As you can see, sign has a cross flag and active has a green tick, which indicates that the signing link is activated for the signer A. So here in this section, I'll see the list of all the signers that I've added as a sender. And I would like you to note that there's a WhatsApp icon right in front of the number indicating that this invitation has been sent via WhatsApp. It has been sent on the signer's WhatsApp. So I'll quickly go to the second part of our demonstration where I'll show you how the journey would look like for a signer who have just received the WhatsApp invitation. So I'll pause my screen.
While Anshul, while you switch your screen, we'll just take the liberty to answer a couple of questions. Abhik has asked if Leegality is exploring integration with Google Workspace applications like Sheets and Docs. So Abhik, yes, this is in the pipeline for us. We have a Google Docs integration in advanced shape. We are planning to launch it later this quarter. Yeah, so that should cover you off. And Umesh, I hope your earlier question was answered. You did mention that it was not answered. But to summarize, email and WhatsApp can go together if you enable both. That's very much possible. I hope that clarifies.
Thank you, Siddharth. So now I'll go to my WhatsApp inbox. And as you can see, the last message that I have received. So this is a invitation link that I have received from Leegality. I can see the logo. I can see the logo. I can see the mobile number. I can see this is the verified account. So here in the bottom, as you can see in the invitation link, I can see the document name when it will expire, and also I can see the brand client's brand name, which is ABC Bank here for a demo purpose. But a client's brand name can also be mentioned here like this. At the bottom, there is an eSign Now quick button, which can simply take the user from this WhatsApp inbox to the sign-in link journey. So I'll click on eSign Now button. So I land on this screen. Here I preview the document. As a signer, I like to see what document has been sent to me. From the top section, I can switch local language if my sender has allowed. I can download the document. I can also see what all invitees are there. So I can see only one invitee here. So now, after previewing the document, I'll click on proceed. This is an OTP validation window where an OTP will be sent. As you can see, I have received both an SMS and WhatsApp for OTP. The reason behind this is twofold. It's easy to copy OTP from SMS as SMS offers that option where you can simply copy OTP with a quick button. And second, we didn't want the signers to face any delay in case there is any, either for WhatsApp or SMS. So I've copied the OTP. I'll paste it right here
Anshul,
and click on proceed.
I think the OTP expired. Not sure. Oh,
No.
it's
So after the OTP validation, I'm shown this screen where I simply need to draw the sign which the sender had enabled for me. I can upload it. At this point, I would like to mention that Leegality offers 16 types of e-signing methods, including Aadhaar, DocSign, or DSC, etc. So for this demo purpose, I'll just quickly sign using the draw mechanism, and I can easily draw my signature on my mobile screen. After drawing the signature, I just need to click on proceed. I'll be shown this consent box. This consent message can be customized as per the client's requirement, as per our customer's requirement. I'll check this and I click on sign document. This is the final step that I, as a signer, need to take. And I've signed. And at the same time, you'll also see I've also received notification from Leegality on WhatsApp. Let's see what it says. So here first I receive a completion notification that everyone has signed, your document is completed. Below that, please pay attention that I also receive an audit trail and the signed document. So if I click on audit trail, I have received the PDF format of audit trail where I can see the details like what activities have been taken on this particular document, who has taken this activity, at what date, and the details. IP, activity related, OS, browser, device related, all the details are present here in the audit trail. And in the signed document, you get the copy of signed document with the sign where the mark was placed. So here, as you can see, it's the sign that I had drawn while in the signing journey. So I received a signed copy of the document as well. I will also like to point out that additional communications like reminders, expiry notifications, all of that would be sent on WhatsApp as well, in addition to the ones that I have shown. So that's how WhatsApp makes life easy. I, as a receiver, whenever I need to retrieve these files, I don't need to go download it from somewhere or store it somewhere as a paperwork. I can just simply go to my WhatsApp inbox and download both the audit trail and the signed copy. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Shubhesh.
Right. I think we received one more question about integration. We'll take that first, and then we'll move on to two questions we've received offline when developing this feature. So we've kind of tried to preempt those. But first, Sid, to you, in continuation of the API integration question, can the sender define like who gets an email and who gets a WhatsApp through API using like the flags? And Umesh, if you want to also ask like verbally, you can raise your hand. We'll happy to give you mic access as well. But yeah, Sid, over to you.
Aditya, the short answer is yes. You have complete power over how you want to do this.
Okay, wait. I think Umesh has raised his hand. So like Umesh, you can just unmute and speak.
Hi, Aditya.
Hi,
The
Umesh.
question that I'm asking, if my system in CRM where we have configured legality APIs to the signing process, the WhatsApp opt-ins are maintained in my CRM system, and not all customers are opted in WhatsApp. So officially, I cannot send them an WhatsApp communication unless until they're opted in with me separately. So how do I take care of that basis, the opt-in that we are maintaining in my CRM system? I know to whom that I can send in WhatsApp, how I can control while using these APIs, what are the flags or the parameters that are possible or not possible, because that is very important for us to consume this feature.
Understood. So Umesh, short answer is that you can do this. You can definitely control this. Like the exact implementation depends on the version of APIs you are using. If you are using our 2.1 version, then you can directly control it via flags. You can just let us know whether you want WhatsApp to be sent or not for that particular API call, and we'll accordingly process it. If you are using our 3.0 version of APIs, then what you need to do is you need to create two identical workflows, one which has WhatsApp enabled, the other which hasn't, and depending on whether it's opt-in or not, you trigger that particular workflow, right? So possible implementation is different depending on which version you are on.
Thanks, Siddharth. That clarifies. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. I think we received two questions that we had put on our last slide. So Shubhesh, if you can share the screen. I think the first question we received was, so one question we received was, if you use Aadhaar, eSign, virtual sign, will it work in the journey? So all eSign types can work through the journey. I think the only exception to that might be if you're using an NESL journey, but I'm not too sure about that. But absolutely every other eSign type can work via WhatsApp. The second question is, can I use custom?
Just to clarify, every kind of eSign is supported via WhatsApp, even NESL. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question is simple. Any type of eSign works through WhatsApp, right? Second question, I think is the first question here. Ultimately, does everything have to go via legality? Can the customer customize the branding for WhatsApp pings? Can they send it through their own verified business account if they have a verified business account? I think short answer is yes. If there's any thing you guys want to add, feel free to add.
Just to add to this, yes, again, as a short answer is yes. We'll just need to set up a few things, but again, it is possible. We can not only customize the message, but add brand logo, brand name. All three of them can be done. You just need to set up, and that's it.
Right. So yes, you don't have to send it through Leegality. There will just be some slight additional tweaks and configurations that need to be done, but it's very possible that you send it through your thing. The second question, of course, is on pricing. Is there any like cost for WhatsApp via Leegality, or rather, if you're already using Leegality, is there any additional cost to use WhatsApp? So for this, Meta levies a charge for WhatsApp, a session-based charge, i.e., per day that the link is active, Meta levies a charge. And so there will be a charge levied on WhatsApp pings as well. Do connect with us, like based on your specific use case or your volume. We would be happy to discuss that charge. But yes, there will be an additional WhatsApp charge per transaction. I think another question we've received, so we've received two questions. Is there any size limit for documents on WhatsApp? So the signer receives the final document, the signer receives the audit trail. How does it work in terms of size limits? Sid, do you want to take that one?
Anshul, do you want to confirm the size limit for sending the PDF file on WhatsApp?
Yeah, sure. Just give me 1 minute. But it's
Yeah. So just whilst Anshul figures out the exact limit. So there are two things. Number one, there is the PDF file itself, and number two, there is a link. Now the link which takes you to the document will always be sent regardless of the size of the document, right? So there is absolutely no limitation there. WhatsApp as such has a limitation of 20 to 25 MB, if I recall correctly, on sending PDF files. If it's below that limit, then we will send the PDF file also. Otherwise, the PDF file will not go. Only the link will go. But in either case, regardless of the size, the customer will be able to access the file.
Yeah, and the limit is 16 MB. So
16.
Meta has put this limit, and we also did.
Yeah.
Right. Second question. Hope that answers your question. In case the question is not answered, please do raise your hand and we'd be happy to give you access, or you can ask a follow-up in the Q&A box. Happy to clarify further. Another question we've received, if we toggle the WhatsApp notification on, do we see the WhatsApp attribute in the API payload, and do we need to reconfigure this in the LOS if they already have, I'm assuming they have an integration in the LOS system already?
So the answer to that is no. Again, sort of depends on the nature of the integration, which version you have used. If you have used the 3.0 version of the APIs, then you just need to change the workflow. You don't need to reconfigure the payload. You don't need to change anything on the integration side. It's plug and play, right? Nothing changes for you.
Right. So you just need to change the workflow on the dashboard again. So you don't
Yes.
need a tech effort there. You just go into the dashboard and just toggle that on.
Yes.
For 3.0.
Yes. But if you're on the older version of the API, the 2.1 version, then yes, you will need to pass an additional toggle. You'll need to pass an additional attribute in the API payload. So in that case, there'll be some changes at your end.
Right. Another question, can we try demo in the UAT environment, like in the existing sandbox that they have? Yes, you can. Do reach out to your customer success manager, or you can email support, support@leegality.com. And we would be happy to enable it for you. Obviously, as the launch progresses, we will be enabling it for more people automatically in the sandbox account. But for now, since it's a just freshly launched feature, you can enable it upon request right away. So if you contact them right after this call, you can get it enabled today itself.
I think there's another question, Aditya, on from Umesh, which is if a customer is not has not opted for WhatsApp opt-in, but you'd still like to send them a notification over WhatsApp, is there a stop button to stop delivery? So Umesh, that's a very interesting point. Right now, we've not included that within the scope. So it's completely left to the business to determine whether you want to send the WhatsApp or not. And this functionality is not there, but this is definitely something that's interesting. We'd be happy to pick it up in the future if we see this as a recurring theme. But yeah, very interesting to see this feedback.
This is very important point that most of the people now avoid opt-in in prior and send the communication on WhatsApp with the option of stopping the communication for futuristic. So customer will have a choice to press that stop or send as stop as a chat response to stop communication. Thereafter, of course, you need to do only opt-in basis communication with that customer. So if you can consider this, this will be good because the reach using the feature will be good if we provide this stop functionality for a
Sure.
non-opted in flags.
Yeah, Umesh, that's very helpful feedback. I think just one thing that we'd like to add, typically the stop functionality is provided or unsubscribe functionality is provided in non-transactional use cases, like in promotional messages or marketing messages. With transactional messages, it's sort of more tricky to do this because ultimately you want to get the document signed, right? It's not a promotional thing. And typically the customer has done an action to trigger the document to begin with. But I completely get where you are coming from, and we'll definitely look into it. It's definitely very helpful feedback. But generally, we don't have stop buttons in our notifications because it falls under the utility category where you want to get it signed to continue the business, right? It's not promotional in nature. But we'll
Then
definitely.
absolutely right. Yeah, Siddhant, you're right. So the only thing is WhatsApp categorically said whatever messages it has to be opted in as first step. Though people do not follow, many commercial organizations are not following, but that's their policy.
Correct.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, Umesh, again, I think this is something we've worked very closely on with WhatsApp business service providers. Again, that is a requirement that applies more on the marketing promotional side. Here we fall under the utility category and transactional category. So sort of different rules apply. And there is no requirement from WhatsApp side to provide this button. We specifically checked this at the time of building. So for this kind of transactional and utility purposes, this is not something that's strictly required, but I completely understand where you're coming from. We'll definitely be looking into upgrades like this. So it's definitely very helpful to know your thoughts here.
Great. Do we have any other questions? You can ask in the box or you can raise your hand. Pawan, I think your hand was raised throughout the webinar, but you also had a question and answered through text. So I just wanted to clarify if you have a question, keep it raised or you can, So, we'll wait for a few minutes. If you have any questions, please ask in the Q&A box or raise your hand and we'll give you mic access. In case you want to reach out to us after this, you can either reach out if you're an existing customer. Okay, we do have a question from Pawan. Shubhash, if you can give him mic access. Pawan, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thanks, Aditya. Okay, thank you. So I was asking see, you said there is a cost from the Meta, but see, typically for WhatsApp messages, I think there is charge per session is from 40 paise. So I think the intention of asking the pricing was does Leegality also charge something beyond this?
Yes, we would charge something beyond this. Again, the exact number, obviously, volume dependent, but it's not just the 40 paise. There will be a additional cost that we charge for maintaining the signing link as well.
Okay, makes sense.
This is purely on the WhatsApp, right? So it's not on our SMS or emails. This is purely to account for Meta's pricing and us running the WhatsApp service. So again, we're here for a few more minutes. So please do raise your hand if you have a question or ask in the Q&A box. In case you do have any questions after this, feel free. If you're an existing customer, contact your customer success manager or email support@leegality.com. If you're not a Leegality customer, feel free to email us at enquiry@leegality.com. If Shubhash, if you can just drop that in the chat because I think Shubhash has dropped all our contact details. You can also reach out to me, Siddhant, or Anshul directly. We would be happy to help either on emails, which Shubhash has dropped in the chat, or you can reach out to us on LinkedIn as well. Or on the email ID enquiry@leegality.com. Bunch of options. However you want to reach out to us, we will answer you and we will get back to you. Looking
Aditya,
forward.
we have some more questions.
Right.
Ravi has asked whether we'll be sharing any SOP to configure WhatsApp and API or through Leegality. Yes, very much so. There'll be SOPs, decks, walkthrough charts. So we'll share that material with you. We'll have your email ID, so we'll make sure that we email you. I think from Madhura, there was a question: can we try demo in UAT environment with existing?
We answered that question.
We answered that. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the question is, can we increase the duration for OTP? That's the question we've not answered.
Okay. So currently there is no way that you can increase, like customize this, right? We sort of have changed the duration in the past universally based on feedback. Earlier this was 30 seconds, we made it 60 seconds to account for like the time duration that it takes for SMSs to turn up. But there is a security angle here as well, so we wouldn't want to increase it too much. But like Calvin, I mean, keen to know more about the specific problem you're facing that you want to solve for by increasing the duration of OTP. But yeah, currently you can't customize this.
Yeah, you can give mic. Calvin, if you want, we'll give you mic access. Shubhesh, if you can give Calvin mic access. You can unmute and ask, or if that's fine if you don't want to also. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Priyanka this side actually.
Hi, Priyanka.
Yeah, so sometimes the users were facing issue while entering the OTP as it is used to get expired soon. So that's why I just wanted to know if we can increase the size, duration of OTP.
Understood. Cool. Priyanka will definitely look into this. As I said, we had earlier increased it from 30 to 60 seconds. There's a security aspect as well, but we'll look into this and we'll assess if this is a general problem, and like we'll obviously reassess whether it needs to be further increased.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. We'll hang around for a few minutes. Again, please feel free to ask questions. Again, we will also be sharing this recording within 48 hours of this webinar. We'll be sharing the recording and we will be sharing other helpful material about WhatsApp pings. So you will receive that email in the next 48 hours, within the next 48 hours. Right. I don't think we have any other questions. So Siddhant, Anshul, thank you so much for making time for this. We'll let you get back to the busy product roadmap now.
Thanks, Aditya.
Thanks everyone for joining the call.
Sid, if you want to give a hint as to what we'd likely do this next webinar on, what feature is coming up maybe next month for people who stayed on so long on the webinar.
No, there are many things actually, Aditya. So I'll just like give a brief overview of what all is coming. I think what's next is probably up to you. But we are launching a new product in the NESL suite, which is for electronic bank guarantees. We are also launching new capabilities like face match and geofencing that will enhance the fraud protection and security of the overall application. We also are revamping our template engine for a new PDF templates module, which will allow you to create templates like at the speed of light, very, very fast. So there's lots coming, but like which is the next one is, I guess, something only you know.
Great, Sid. Excited to do showcases like this for all 3 or 4 of those things. And yeah, great. And people who attended this webinar, please do give us feedback as well after if you have anything you want to share. And also people who asked, can we activate it? People who not asked but want to activate it, please do activate it. We're eager to get you to start using it and testing it right away, just to see how it's actually going to work, because we've tested it many times internally. Now we want you to test it out there in the market. All right. Thanks, everyone. I think we can end the webinar here.